This is Chris Dingwell here at Chris Dingwell Studios, and I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about how tattoo pricing works. And the reason for that is that I've had an experience with a client lately who came in to get a full chest piece done across her chest, which we did in black and gray. And shortly after we finished that tattoo, I had another client come in who had gotten a full-size chest piece, also in black and gray, from another artist, and wasn't happy with it. I was really struck by how completely different the pricing was. A lot of people in this area are put off by the fact that I charge $750 for a full day's worth of work. But most people don't seem to understand what $750 will get them. Very often I have people who call up and ask me, how much do you charge per hour or how much do you charge per day? And I'll tell them, and that's where the conversation ends. What you need to know is, what am I going to get for the money that I'm going to spend? For example, this woman came in and she wanted to do an illustration from a book titled The Poison Diaries across her chest. The image that she brought to me didn't work at all the way that it was set up, so what I had to do is take the image and take it apart into various pieces and redraw it sort of across her chest. So the first hour and a half that she was in my studio for the day, we spent that taking the image apart, cutting it up, collaging it, sort of refiguring it, composing the new tattoo across her chest, and I spent the remainder of the day tattooing it. And I was able to do this very detailed piece across her entire chest in a single sitting in just one day. So that piece across her chest cost a total of $750. A couple of days later, I had a woman come to me in my studio. She told me that she had wanted to get tattooed by me in the first place, but that my rates were too high. So she had gone to another artist who told her that he only charged $300 a day. So the difference is I'm charging $750 a day, this guy's charging $300 a day. Which sounds like a drastic difference, except that when she went to him, he spent the entire first day that he worked on her doing the outline of this piece, and spent 2 consecutive days shading this piece and reworking the piece, reworking the outline, what have you. The piece that she had done was not quite as large and not nearly as detailed as the piece that I did that I just mentioned. And she was coming to me because she was upset with the way that it looked and wanted to have it added to and repaired. Now keep in mind, at $300 a day, she had already spent 3 days having this worked on, so she had already spent $900 on this piece across her chest that she wasn't happy with because she went to an artist who was charging less money. And here she was in my studio asking me to repair it and add to it and basically finish this project up. Again, I would have to charge her more money. So at the end of the day, even though I'm charging $750 a day and this person is charging $300 a day, I was able to do a lot more tattooing for the $750 than this other person was able to do for $300. And my client was in and out and finished with the project in just one day, whereas the other project was something that dragged on over several sittings and took a couple of months, and the woman ended up not being happy with the results after all. So it's important to remember when you call up any tattoo studio, not me, not just mine, but any tattoo studio, and you start asking about how much do you charge per hour, how much do you charge per day, you need to have an understanding of what you're going to get in return for that hour's worth of work, for that day's worth of work. Make sure you explain to the artist that you're talking to exactly what it is that you want to have done. Send them photographs, send them illustrations, and get a quote on the specific project that you want to have done. A lot of times you may be surprised that artists such as myself and others in the country who charge a higher rate per hour will actually be able to do your particular tattoo for the same price or less than many of those cheaper artists, simply because we work so much more quickly and so much more efficiently, and we have a much greater skill level, which means less pain and less time invested and less travel.